Hey everybody, it's me, Karsten's cousin, and it's time to do one of my favorite new things that I do, and that is go over my Letterboxd stats for the year. They still don't have like an official Wrapped thing, unless I'm wrong, but I like the stats. This year is going to be interesting. A big part of why I did Monkey Mondays in the first place was because of my stats last year and seeing which day of the week was my most watched day. I realized that there wasn't a single day where I watched a movie that day every week, which I know is like a pointless stat. No, like who cares, right? But I just wanted to see what would happen if I watched a monkey movie every Monday. I watched a lot of Oscar-nominated films. I watched a lot of Ghibli films. I really wanted to try and watch a lot more international cinema this year. We'll see if I did a decent job at that. But let's stop yapping. Let's hop right into it. Okay, 2024. Okay, right off the bat, 316 diary entries. I feel like that has to be more than my stats last year. I think last year I didn't even crack 300, to be honest. I do feel like that makes sense. I watched a lot of films this year between the Oscar-nominated thing, film festivals, 146 reviews. Really slimmed down on the reviews this year. That's fine. 2 lists. I don't do lists like that. And 572 hours of film. That's just insane. My highest rated films, this does track, even though I will say Kinds of Kindness didn't even crack the top 20 on the actual list. That is one that just kind of like has gone a little bit downhill with me over time. Even though I remember really liking it, it wasn't the most memorable film. It kind of just like left my mind after a while. By week, damn. I think this is when I was in Vancouver, which tracks. And that I know that there's only one film because that has to be Monkey Mondays. Interesting. Yeah, so this is why we do Monkey Mondays. I didn't miss a single week. If I wasn't doing Monkey Mondays, I probably wouldn't have made time for a film this week, but you know, it forced me. This was probably Chicago International. Yes, it was Chicago International. Oh, I guess I can look at them. Okay, what was going on here? Yeah, that was President's Week. This one film ended up being Bobo the Monkey. Damn, that doesn't even really count, does it? I watched one film that week, and it is like less than a minute. I'm pretty sure 2 minutes. Okay, that's all right. And let's see, this is probably the Oscar nominated. Yeah, those are the short films. That tracks. Okay, there it is, the weekly roundup. 79 films on a Monday. That's crazy, actually. I was expecting just 52 because I was like, most of the time I didn't watch more than one film on Monday, but I guess I really... Can we click on can we see which films? No? All right. Average per month is 26.3. That's pretty damn good. 6 average per week, also pretty damn good. I'll take that. I feel like that's got to be an improvement from last year. My first film was Songs from the Second Floor, which when I watched it, I was like, this is a questionable first film of the year pick. It is just a really depressing, just like dictionary definition bleak film. But like, I'd always wanted to get into Roy Andersson, and what better time than the top of the year? My 50th film was Red, White, and Blue, the short film that was nominated for the Oscar. 100th was Love Lies Bleeding. 150th, Mad Max 2. 200th, Dee Dee. 250th, Howl's Moving Castle. 300th, Molly's Game. I'm pleased that we even made it to the 300 mark. My last film was King Kong. And I was like, maybe we can squeeze in one more, make this not the last film of the year. But at the same time, this felt so appropriate as the final film of this year. A year of monkeys, a year of, big spectacles, action films. This worked. My most watched, The Substance, 3 times. The Substance was my most... That's a little weird. I didn't think that would be my most watched film when I first saw it. I was like, this is probably enough. I probably don't need to see this again. And then I saw it 2 more times. But it's just so goddamn fun, isn't it? I'm just surprised that there wasn't any other film that I watched 3 times. I didn't rewatch a lot this year. Saw Nora twice, looking to see it a 3rd time. Fall Guy twice for God knows what reason. I also saw Twisters twice, but I don't know where that is. Yeah, kind of not a big rewatch year. I have to say. Genres, countries, and languages, we are still, in the drama USA English prison. Cannot seem to break that one, but I guess it's, that's a hard one to break. Comedy up there, adventure up there. I don't think adventure's ever been this high. Like I can't speak on what last year's were, but I feel like this has to be a Monkey Monday situation. Is there anything in here that is not, no spoken language, 9 films. Are those monkey films? Oh my God, it's literally monkey films. That's so funny. Just a lot of animals this year. No spoken language. Themes and nano genres. We do have surreal and thought-provoking visions of life and I don't know how that ends. Life and Death. Okay. These aren't even a lot of, I guess a lot of them are monkey films, but like I didn't really watch all of these with Monkey Mondays in mind. I just like naturally gravitate towards this theme, I guess. I guess it is kind of my favorite thing. I love films that get a little surreal, get a little thought-provoking. Humanity and the world around us. That is more in line with Monkey Mondays. Yeah. It's kind of the same thing, right? Like thought-provoking and humanity in the world. Like what does this even mean? Action, epic, emotion. Once again, damn, that's just a lot of Dune, and then a lot of Ghibli films, and then, of course, Monkey Mondays. I guess that is kind of the theme of this year. I'm just really glad. I feel like kids in animation is always a little too high on my list, and I really expected it to be high this year because of, the Ghibli video, but I'm glad it's not number one. Nothing wrong with the kids, but it's a little weird when it's always number one. The Breakdown, 2024 premieres, and older. This makes me really happy. I feel like I do try really hard to seek out like older films, and I guess a lot of these. It doesn't let you look. A lot of these by older they do just mean like 2023, 2022, and I did watch a lot of 2023 releases in anticipation of that Oscar video. But I'm still pretty happy with this. I'm glad it's not mostly new films. Yeah, really just not a lot of rewatches this year, which is also pretty impressive. I'm happy about that. I feel like it's so easy to just rewatch things over and over again, and I tried to step outside of my comfort zone. This is absolutely a first. I used to live by the rule of like any film I see, I have to leave a review for it. And this year I really cut back. This is a crazy thing to say as someone who talks on the internet as a way of paying rent, but I kind of lived by the if I have nothing to say, don't say it thing this year. And a lot of these films I was just like, I have nothing to say right now. I'm going to save this for a video. This does not belong on Letterboxd. And it feels pretty good, to be honest. I feel like it led to higher quality reviews on my channel because I wasn't trying to like rehash what I had already said on Letterboxd. I'm probably overthinking this a little bit too much, but that was my approach this year, and I'm pleased with it. I watched 50 films from my watch list. That's pretty impressive, actually. I will say most of those are, again, Monkey Mondays movies. Clearly, I'm very positive. Only gave 2 films half a star. Which ones are they? Queen, Kong, and Red One. I've also recently decided that the half star mark is reserved for like the worst of the worst. Like I do not slap half star on that many films. 1 star, clearly also not the most popular star rating. These both deserve 1 star. I mean, Queen Kong, one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. And Red One, same thing. Okay, this is the fun part. Cast. Willem Dafoe, 7 films. Nosferatu, Saturday Night, Beetlejuice, Platoon, Light Sleeper, Kinds of Kindness, and Poor Things. I guess I did have a big Willem Dafoe year. I did actively seek out some of the Willem Dafoe classics, some of the older hits like Light Sleeper, Platoon. But then he's just been like so employed. Like so most of these are new films. Nosferatu, Saturday Night, Beetlejuice, Kinds of Kindness, and Poor Things. It's like he's busy. I didn't even see Haunted Mansion. Wasn't he in that? We also have Andy Serkis, which tracks. I already know what this is gonna be. Yep, Planet of the Apes and Career Girls. That was a very fun cameo. Naomi Watts. That surprises me. I know she was in King Kong and Mulholland Drive and Inland Empire and Babe Pig in the City. Damn. And then Philip Seymour Hoffman, which, I guess I had a pretty big Philip Seymour Hoffman year as well. I didn't even know Margaret Qualley had 4 films. Like, what could these be? I guess The Substance 3 times. And I guess she did do Kinds of Kindness and Drive Away Dolls, yeah. Okay, directors. George Miller. This was truly the George Miller year for me. I think I watched everything but Thunderdome. That's the one film of his I still haven't seen. But other than that, I went through all of the Mad Max films. I did Babe Pig in the City. I went through a big George Miller phase. I'm genuinely shocked that Hayao Miyazaki's not number 1. I guess he just barely missed the cut with 4 films. Tim Burton. Watched a lot of Tim Burton randomly. Eric Romer. I could have easily swept this. I actually thought when I was going through my Romer phase that he would be number 1, but I really dropped the ball at some point. I need to watch the winter films now. Peter Jackson, Francis Ford Coppola. That's a good lineup. Good lineup of fellas. Producers. Now this is where it's like mostly Studio Ghibli, I would assume. whoever Toshio Suzuki is. Yeah, this is just all that's crazy. Your most liked review, one of those movie-going experiences I'll cherish for the rest of my life. And you know what? I'm glad that that's my most liked review because I still stand by that. I didn't even like provide the context, but like I saw that film while recovering from knee surgery. I was like a week out, still on crutches. I mean, I was going to be on crutches for a while. I had been bedridden. Like, I didn't leave the house. I was miserable. And then my sister drove me to the, like, IMAX fan first screening of Dune. And it was like the highlight of my month. One of the highlights of my year, to be honest. I watch so many movies and I go to the theater very often. Sometimes I forget what it is like to be completely, like, you know, taken aback by what's on screen. And Dune Part 2 was it just reminded me why we do this, you know? It was just such a beautiful thing to watch and to live in for 3 hours. I mean, it was one of those times where I was like, thank God this is as long as it is. It's like, I feel like I'm truly immersed in this world. Yeah, really good experience. Movies that sound like YouTube titles. Man, I don't get the whole list thing. I made this while very bored, like a week ago. And I was like, how do people even find lists? Like, I'm not browsing the list section on Letterboxd. Like, where did you guys find this thing? Highs and lows. Highest average is Over the Garden Wall. This is like the fifth year in a row this has been the case. Lowest average, Madam Web. That also tracks. Most popular, Oppenheimer. How many logs does this thing have? 3.3 million. That's great. We live in a different app now. Most obscure, The Story of the Monkey King. Yeah, I remember when I found that, I was like, there's no way anyone but me has seen this in the last few years. Shortest is this film. If you haven't seen this, now you have. You can log it on Letterboxd. Longest was The Curse. Forgot The Curse came out this year, but one of the best things I watched. Newest, A Complete Unknown. Oldest, yeah, The Musician Monkey. 1878. That's insane. Rated higher than average. Babe, Pig in the City. That is shocking to me. That should be, you know, 5 stars across the board from everybody. Trap, also really shocking when I saw the average for this. 2.7, and that's the graph. Like, I'm not even a shooter for Trap like that. I know there's people that go way harder than I do. There's people that think I hate this film. But, like, 2.7 is a bit low for Trap. Again, Nope, I continue to ride for that film. I think it's like one of the modern masterpieces, if I'm being honest. Host, also like top tier Bong Joon-ho, should be talked. Well, maybe not in the same breath as Parasite, but what did Jack do? I get that. I can't argue for that. And Black Christmas, one of the best horror movies ever made. What are you doing? What do you mean? Rated lower than average. Now this is crazy to me. Red One is like an abomination. And I've talked about it too much. We're not gonna keep going with Red One, but Mean Girls, I already know that. Flamin' Hot, that's just because most people haven't seen it. Gone with the Wind, I get that. I got flamed for that one. The Good Doctor, I forgot I watched this. A Quiet Place, Day One. Also forgot I watched this. A massive disappointment, if I'm being honest. And these are all the films watched in 2024. Wow, look at that. That's beautiful. This is what we wanted. World Map. Okay, not amazing, if I'm being honest. I'm amazed I didn't watch anything from Russia. That's pretty crazy. I assumed I did. Or India, man. That's crazy. Brazil. What the fuck? I had to have watched at least one thing from Brazil this year. I guess I got Senegal, Algeria, the Battle of Algiers. I guess that makes sense. And the Bakery Girl of Monceau. What is this? Saudi Arabia? 4 Daughters. This is what I like about the Oscar nominated challenge is like I watch a lot of international cinema that I would not check out otherwise, which is very sad to admit. Next year could do a lot better, I'll be honest. I do still think this is a step up from last year. Last year was really embarrassing, but you know, there's always room for improvement. Nothing from the Philippines. This is pretty. It is crazy the things that I did miss. I watched 43 films from France. That's kind of crazy. Iceland. What was from Iceland? Smoke Sauna Sisterhood. That is the most Icelandic shit. Highly rated films you've yet to see. I'm still here. Very high on my list, I have to say. I'm just waiting to make some time for that. Same thing with Look Back. And I've just found out about How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies. A crazy title, but I'm definitely going to check it out. And also Memoir of a Snail. I want to make some time for Memoir of a Snail. People are acting like I'm ignoring it, but I'm trying to find the time, okay? Highest rated with your friends. I don't really care. That's it. Okay, cool. I would say this was a pretty successful year. I'm pretty pleased with my stats. I watched a lot more films this year than I did in 2023. Hopefully going even higher in 2025. Hopefully going to watch a lot more international cinema this year. Hopefully going to watch a bit more Romare, a bit more let's dive into no spoken language. Let's see what that has to offer. And yeah, those are my stats. What were your stats? What was surprising about what you saw in there? Thanks for watching, and I am gonna leave now.